Hi, I'm Pete Matthews and Christine.
I'm Christine.
And what we're going to do is show you how to do cut comb for show and also chunk honey. Starting with the frames. You will have a nice shallow frame, and you either have a starter strip in there, which is just a piece of wax, and you leave it to the bees to do the job of pulling it down. The only problem is you get part worker cell and the rest will be drone cells, which makes it uneven. You can use drone frames comb for show, but the best one is a full sheet of foundation, super thin, and that will give you a nice cut comb drawn out. This being a frame fully drawn, and it's all worker, and this would be ideal for cut comb and chunk honey. And this one has had starter strips in it, and it's very uneven. If you look at the angle on the bottom, and you can see it's so uneven, it wouldn't do for a frame for extraction in the show. And also what we're looking for is that there's no pollen in the cells. We're looking for pure honey on that one, and also this one as well. This frame is what we're going to use for the cut comb and the chunk, and Christine will demonstrate how we do that.
We've got a couple of chopping boards, which are food grade, and we just put the frame down like that and cut out of the frame. There's just a starter strip, but it's So now I've got some templates. What I do is I put this on top of an IKEA chopping board. Other chopping boards are available, food grade. Draw around it and then cut it out until it's just inside the line. I'm looking for the best, absolutely even. And I just put one on there and one on there, like so. Yeah. And then you can either use a sharp knife. There's a cutter you can buy, which is just like a corned beef cutter, which cuts it exactly, but I've never been able to get on with one of those, so I just use a sharp knife and then go around the template. If the foundation is too thick, it's very difficult to cut through the midrib. So what we then do is we have a tray with a cake rack and bamboo skewers so it doesn't mark the underside. And just pick it up to the midrib and put it on like so to drain. And do the next one. Loose bit there. So we leave that to drain sometimes overnight so that all the excess honey comes out of the side cells, and it means we now have drained honey and you can see how these cells are empty here. And then just pop that out, slip it in, and there's the finished result. We're going to do chunk honey. This is usually at least 50% of the comb honey inside the jar. So we've got a standard 1 pound jar, clean, and we're just going to put our template, which fits in there, so that when the lid's on, it will hold that piece of chunk honey in flat on the bottom. I'm just looking to see where it's most in the middle. So I want the midrib as near to the middle as possible. This may not be everybody's way of doing it, but it's worked for me, and I've had quite a few first prizes at the National for this, and the Irish National Honey Show and the Scottish National Honey Show, so something must be going right. So I want to put it on its end so it's upside down, so that the comb is going down that way. So we've got it upside down. Photograph that. The jar over. Turn it upside down. And so you've got the honey the right way up, where the cells are at that angle up. So now you pour honey over that. So Peter, you come around there and do that for me.
What you've got to do is make sure the comb is the side of the comb is in line with the mould mark on the jar. So they need to turn that round. So that's there. As you can see, there's a mould line down the jar. So that comes in on the side and not on the face of the comb. So now what we're going to do is pour liquid honey over it. You dribble it down over the comb itself so you don't get any air bubbles, and you just let that run in until you get it up to the top. This will take a little while, not too long, but we'll be there. And normally you use the comb and the honey from the same hive. Some people put a darker comb in and light honey around it. I've got no preference at all. If it's really well done, well presented, and I'm judging it, it will get a good placing in the show. There's nothing hard and fast. A lot of judges, they have their preferences. So here we are coming up to the top, and that's sufficient there. So what we'll now do is leave that overnight and let any air bubbles rise up, and if there's any little bits of broken wax on the edge of the comb, that will float to the top. And in the meantime, when you finalised it, you pick some really clean lids, no dents on them, and they got to be identical because you had 2 jars in the show, and you make sure it's nice and clean inside, no dust, no foreign bodies, and you just put it on the jar, screw it up, and there you are with a nice jar of cut comb honey, chunk honey. This is one we did earlier, and so you have the 2. You can see that this one is a bit cloudy. This honey I have warmed slightly, and so it is more translucent.
And you make sure that it's not floating or bobbing about, and it's straight.
Yeah. That's it.